Hi everyone, I thought I would start a series with some pretty florals. Now this is from Jewelry Box by Hanna Karlzon. I did try and find, Dusty, I did try to find a page in Grains of Gold, which is her compilation book, because I thought more of you might have that, you know, it would be in 2 books, but I couldn't find anything that I wanted to do, and I felt like doing some florals, so this is the page I've chosen. But of course you could do any Hanna floral or any floral at all, colouring along with me. Now I have picked let's just get that in the centre. There we go. I have picked my Black Widow's pencils because there's quite a lot of small detail in these flowers, and I haven't used them for a while, so I thought they would be good. I also know they work very nicely on Hanna's paper. So the centre of the flower I'm going to do first. I'm going to do this yellow. I know it's a little bit cliche, I suppose, to do a yellow flower centre, but that's what I've decided I'd like to do. I'm just trying to find the egg yolk colour. Here it is. This is from the Black Widow, the spider set, but this is going to be my darkest yellow, and I'm going to try and go just sort of around the outside of these little bits. I'm going to have to sharpen this pencil, and then do a slightly lighter colour in the middle. It's going to be a little bit fiddly. If it's too fiddly for you, just do the whole thing in one colour. Doesn't matter that much, but I think sometimes it's nice to do a mix of colours. Now this looks like a rose to me, the way it's drawn, but this centre part isn't like a rose. I think Hanna likes to use her imagination a lot with her florals, and that's really good. Stretches us a little bit, but it also means we can do whatever we want with them without having to think, well, that's a rose, it's got to be X colour or whatever. We can just do our own thing. So I'm just trying to work out what's rose and petaled and what's these sort of things. I don't know, stamens maybe? I'm not sure. Anyway, I hope everyone's well today. I think we're going to have 2 series starting on the same day today, but it might be that I fit in a few singular pictures perhaps, I'm not sure, but I'm sort of thinking that way. It should be interesting. I am going to use a colour called Sunburst for the centre. It might be a little bit too bright, but we'll see. This is from the skin tone set, but you could use a lemonade. You could use mellow yellow. Even the banana would work well here. Any sort of mid-yellow, normal mid-yellow colour, rather than this slightly darker one that we've used already. I'm just going over everything with this. Just lighten and brighten it all, make it all pretty like that. Some of them are lighter than others. You may not be able to see that because it's quite small, but I don't mind. I'm happy with that. Now we've got the main part of the flower, so another choice to make colour wise. I quite like, let me have a think, any colour really can go with that yellow. Orange goes particularly well, and red. I'm wondering whether to go red. Let me look at the reds. What have we got? I don't want it to be too pinky. I think I'm going to go for the blood red to start with. Where's that? I think that's it there. Nope. The problem with my Black Widows is that the names on some of them are right across where the elastic is on the pencil case, blood red, so I can't see them. And I'm sure some people are very clever and they label. I'm just going to put a layer of blood red light over all of the petals so that I can see where I'm at. I'm then going to choose a slightly darker shade to put in some shadows and some sort of darker tones, and then come back to my blood red to finish it off. You'll see. Yeah, I'm sure there are some clever people that either put labels in their pencil case or lower down on their pencils so they can see, but I'm afraid I would find that very boring and to do, and it's not a way I would want to spend my time, I'm afraid. I'm quite happy to just dither a little bit, so I'm sorry for that. But it's not really my thing. I've got a lot of things that I'd like to do, and that isn't one of them. I've got lots of things to fit in. And in fact, I met a friend for coffee today, and she was asking me if I had much work on. I was sort of like, well, I can have as much or as little as I like. And at the moment, I'm not doing masses. I'm just doing a bare minimum. But because the boys are studying and I'm helping them a little bit and things like that, I'm hoping to start to have a bit more time to try to do a bit more. I've been playing with a few ideas this weekend, to be honest, but I'm not sure about those. We'll see how it pans out. But you know, I've always got an idea here or there, which is good. I'm going to use the brown bug. Brown bug. The burgundy's a bit too pink. I'm going to use the brown bug. I'm going to put some shadow in. I'm going to sharpen it, and then I'll show you where I'm going to... Oh, I've forgotten that bud at the bottom. Here, look. Sorry, that's not the brown bug. That was the original blood red. So here we are, brown bug. Let's do this centre bit. So really deep, intense into this centre around these little pieces that we've already coloured. I think it will be quite dark. Also, they stand out more if they've got this sort of darker colour behind them, which is quite nice. Yeah, I met a friend for coffee. It's lovely. It's because it was just after my birthday. We always meet up when it's our birthdays and Christmas and things like that, which is really nice. And we had a lovely meet up and a catch up. She is we worked out that we've known each other for almost 20 years, which is pretty lovely. And we don't see as much. We used to see a lot of each other. We don't see as much of each other now, but that's okay. It's just how things go. We didn't used to well, we used to do the school run together. Our children were in the same class, so we would see each other a lot then because we had to be there. We would then sometimes have a coffee as well to meet up. I had a bit less work on than I do now, and a bit less, you know, when the children aren't around, a bit more time when they're at school. I used to find that to be the case anyway, but now I'm trying to help them a little bit. I had a few more, you know, husband needs a bit more support and things like that. He's not working full time, so you know, it's all things have changed a little bit in both of our lives. She's working a little bit, not at the moment, but planning on going back to work soon. She's had a bit of time, sick time off, due to having an operation, so but she'll, and when the doctor says she can go back to work, I'm sure she will. So that's all good. Now we're going back to our blood red now. Now I'm not going to colour over everything with the same intensity. I'm going to sort of try and fade it off a little bit. So here, for example, I put quite a lot down here. As we get to the tip, I'm going to put a bit less down. It still looks nice and bright and red. But yes, it was a lovely meet-up, lovely catch-up, find out how each other's families are doing and things like that. And yeah, nice. We sometimes get a little bit political. She was just saying that we need to be concentrating on looking after each other and our communities and things like that, and how right she is. She said she's just started giving some money to a new local charity because they're setting up a hospital in the region specifically for cancer care, and she said, you know, it hits all of us. Her son's had a little bit of it, you see. He's fine now, but you know, it is what it is, and she's right, it does impact all of us. So that was interesting. So I don't know about that hospital, so I need to do a bit of research about that. But I had actually been thinking of giving a little more to the local hospital. I haven't given money to them for a long time, but we'll see, because it used to always be that the government paid towards all the hospitals, but they now I'll have charities, because there's just never seems to be enough money. I'm sure it's the same in all countries. Well, I think it's always been the case, but it used to be like in our town, for example, our hospital was built by a benefactor who was wealthy and lived in the town and gave back and built. It was in a different place to where it is now, but built, you know, had the hospital set up and things like that. And you think, we don't have that anymore. Now, I suspect there are some reasons for that, in the sense that it might be that the money that these benefactors had maybe hadn't been fully legal or moral. This is, I'm trying to find the opal green, by the way. I'm struggling. It could be that. I'm not sure. I don't know all the circumstances. And so maybe, you know, maybe they, because of there being no minimum wage, which there is now, maybe that was part of it as well, so they could afford to make more money. I really don't know, but it just doesn't happen anymore in the same sort of way. Some people do, but not locally, if you know what I mean. So I'm thinking, yes, we probably do as a people. Here it is, opal green. Oh, I nearly dropped it on the floor. I saved it. So I do agree with her that we do need to start looking after ourselves, you know, our communities. I'm going to make all the stems quite dark with this, and then as I go up to the leaf, I'll do that a bit lighter, but I'll just do the stems first, quite intensely, back and forth a few layers. Yes, no, this, my desk, the legs of the desk are like a board, the width of the desk. It's quite hard to explain, so like this. Okay, so my pencil went there. But what I've done is I've got a really thick piece of washi tape which I've stuck between the desk and on the desk and the wall, so that when I drop a pencil like I just did, it doesn't fall on the floor between the leg of the desk and the wall, so I can't get it out. Because right up to my desk is a bookcase. There's really no way. I'm just going to put a little bit at the base of here, look, and fade it off. Can you see? There's no way I can scrabble down there and get it out. So having lost a pencil down there once, which I think I eventually managed to get out, but with pushing a long ruler along there and trying to, it was hard work. Anyway, I managed to get it out eventually. And so since then I put this bit of sticky tape along so that I don't lose my pencils. It's okay if it's a little something you've got a lot of, or a white that you don't use much or something like that, but you know, one of your favourite pencils stuck there. It's not good, is it? Right, now I want a lighter colour which is still quite bluey green. I think I might use the Venom. It's in a really weird place on my swatch chart. It's sort of in the middle of blues. There it is. I think I made a bit of a mistake there. Some of my swatch charts here is Venom have a few little mistakes in. I would like to redo some of them, but it just takes so long. So I haven't yet. It's one of those things in the back of my head, like, you know, when I get an assistant, she laughs, they can do it. You know, I can reorder it and then they can do all the swatching, which takes so long, but we'll see, maybe not. Anyway, there's also some spelling mistakes on some of them which need to be corrected and things like that, and I can correct them on the blank charts because that's really easy, but on the swatched ones then I have to swatch it, and if I make a mistake I have to start again, which I often do. Like, no, they're not easy to do. But I do like doing new ones, but correcting old ones, not so sure. But I noticed that on my Ko-fi, where my swatch charts are being given away, I've had over 1,000 downloads of the Poly Prisma comparison chart. That's just absolutely bonkers, especially as Colour with Claire has such a good one, which I know everyone likes, but I did mine in a different way to hers, because Hers just has, like, if there's no close match, she just doesn't put one. Whereas I really wanted to know what I could use. So I've done some that aren't quite that close, you know, but you can sort of just about. I'm going to use the pine. Where is it? Where are you, pine? That's apple. Have I gone too far? There's too many greens. What? Who said that? There's never too many greens. I just can't find them. Grub green, peppermint, cool green. Is it that? Antler. I've gone too far. It's this way. Pine, there it is. Got there in the end. I spun the dragon set. Pine. I'm just going to sort of do the tips with this, just so they're more intense without being too dark. Yeah, so I made this sort of alternative chart. I know actually, is it Lucy Loves to Colour? She did one where she does some combinations of colours to get the nearest matches, and that was a good idea. But I wanted to keep mine a little bit simpler, because I know there are people who don't really want to combine colours. They just want to get the closest they can. And you might not always agree. I sometimes think, maybe sometimes it's really hard and you're like, is it this or this, this or this? And I'm looking back and forth, swatching them next to each other, thinking, I'm not sure. And I just plump for one. So you may think, actually no, I think it was that one, you know, whatever. But I do my best. Okay, I'm just gonna have a little look and a think before I finish. I'm going to tidy up. This is my opal green down here. Hear the water running. I put my sheets on to wash when I got back from my coffee. Now I'm going to use a dark colour. I want something, what have we got? I think will that work? Yes, sabre. I'd rather use this very dark green than use a black or a charcoal. I want to put some shadow in a few places, and I think this will show up enough. So here, where the leaves are slightly overlapping, I don't know if it is showing up, to be honest. It's decided it wants to just shred. No, it's getting there. No, I'm still not sure if it's showing up enough for my liking. Not really. I'm going to go for black. I know black's a bit black. Can't find my black. Where are you? Huntsman, coal. Where is my black? It seems to be missing. There's flat black. Must be it. There it is. Black Widow. Whoop. There. Okay, what I want to do is where it's so near to other things, put a bit of shadow in, just to give it a slightly more three-dimensional look. You don't have to do this bit. I always say that if you feel like you're done, just be done. I just want to just put in a little extra detail. This is really light work. I don't want it to look black, just darker. Yeah. Make sure you go right up against the black line that's drawn on, or else it looks a bit odd. That's that bit there. It's supposed to have thunderstorms soon. Can't hear any sign of it. It's very odd. We're supposed to be the beginning of a heat wave, and yet it's colder today than yesterday. So I'm a bit confused. Right, the tips of my red leaves are a little bit pale for my liking. I really want a sort of pale reddish colour. Don't have such a colour though. Maybe I just need to blend them a little bit. They're just, I can see too much white paper through, if you know what I mean. What shall I try? Maybe I will just put a bit more red on top. This is the blood red. But I purposely didn't want to go all the way to the tip. I left it a bit lighter. Yeah, maybe I'll use a blender. How are we doing for time? 10 to 12. Going to cook some potatoes for lunch. We don't normally have potatoes very much, but I had a few left over and it wasn't enough to sort of do anything with, so I've bought some Jersey Royals, which are really nice. Yeah, I decided I am going to use a little blending pencil. I've got the Color blender. I don't know if it works with Black Widow, but it has worked really well with everything I've tried so far. Tried it with so far. I don't know where it comes from. I'm assuming Amazon. It was sent to me as a gift, so it's been very good. I've actually got one next door as well, which is getting really small. Whoop, I just broke it in my sharpener. I have found that it's a little bit breaky. I just made a big mess on the desk. Might have to use a different one. No, there it is. Okay, I have to clean my desk. Yeah, because if I used a white to blend the red, what would happen? Go pink. Because, yeah, white and red make pink. If you, a lot of you will know that, of course, but I know some people haven't studied it. It's a long time since I did, to be fair. Well, at school we first studied it, I suppose. This is actually blending. It's going quite black. I don't know if it's the black pencil I'm accidentally blending in or whether it's the black print on the page, but I'm trying to be a little bit more careful now. There, I'm going to leave it there. So there we go. There is our first flower from this page. So yes, thank you for watching. Hopefully that was useful. I had fun. We'll do a completely different colour one tomorrow. In fact, we've got two tomorrow, two intertwined stems, so that will be interesting. Because we've got these sort of blueberry ones and then this large one as well, so that'll be good. But thank you for watching today. Hope that you enjoy the rest of your day and happy colouring.